Hello, Internet. It's me, Ray. As always, in the Bourgeois Gentleman's Reading Room. And behind the camera, everyone's favorite ninja marsupial. I've got my sexy voice back on. And that's because I'm talking about something that's near and dear to my heart. Comics. Also, Shaolin just did like a grunt belch thing that's making things very uncomfortable right now.
That was my disapproval. I thought
That's-
you were going to say something a lot worse than comics.
No. There is only one thing I truly love in this world, and it's comics. And that's what makes me sad. But what makes me happy are comics. And one thing that makes me super happy is rereading my hardcover collector's edition copy of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Hence why I have this wonderful piece of Cliff Chiang artwork up there. It's just as a little digression, if you will. Got this a couple years at New York Comic Con. He had done a whole series of posters that were inspired by movie posters. I bought a bunch of them. I loved them. He has a card set. He does those every year. And they're fantastic. He's got like a Batgirl and Batman one that's sort of like Purple Rain. He's got one, I think it's like 16 Candles, but it's like the Dark Phoenix saga with Wolverine, Cyclops, and Dark Phoenix. Good stuff. Again, if you ever get a chance to check him out, whatever con he is, follow him on Twitter. Follow him on, I think he might be on Instagram, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he doesn't post a lot there. I know that he has like a cliffchiang.com, which I think is a Tumblr. So definitely follow him. You can follow where he's at. And if you get a chance, go pick up his stuff, because as you can see, this poster is amazing. It frames up very nicely. Don't worry, I've already pat myself on the back. It was a pretty good job. But the reason I have that up is, one, because it's DC, but two, that is a very old version of the Teen Titans. It's the first version. I mean, Green Arrow, Red Arrow, Arsenal, whatever his name is now, he was still Speedy. And that was before he got hooked on heroin. And that's when Wally West, everyone's favorite Flash, fuck you, Barry Allen, fuck you, was, Kid Flash. And then there was like Aqualad and Wonder Girl and Robin. And I have that up because, again, one of my all-time favorite series was Crisis on Infinite Earths. And if you're not familiar with Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's basically DC had spent years just writing stories. Writing rambling stories that had alternate Earths and Earth 2s and Earth numbers and tons of stuff. And it had just become this jumbled mess. And by the late 70s, early 80s, people hated it. They didn't know which Superman was which. They didn't know what to follow. They didn't know which world made any sense anymore. It was a crazy time. And sales were low. And DC had to figure out a way to streamline their universe, get rid of all the junk, figure out what nobody cared about, and figure out how to make one cohesive, solid universe. So they came up with this 12-issue series, the first of its kind, actually, the first 12-issue limited series, if I'm not mistaken. And it basically saw the Anti-Monitor come in and start devouring universes. When all was said and done, a bunch of universes were destroyed. They all merged together to one. And what DC did was they took the best elements of each universe, or at least the most popular elements, brought them into one, and went from there. If you're not familiar with that time, that's when John Byrne had rebooted Superman. I believe Batman got a reboot, and I think Frank Miller came in at that time and might have done Batman Year One. It was around that time. I bring this up because if you notice, directly underneath my Crisis on Infinite Earths is the official handbook to the Marvel Universe. One of the things that Marvel has always sort of been lauded for, despite lots of things that people complain about, one of the things they've always been lauded for is that they've pretty much only had the 616. And that's the main Marvel Universe. They've had divergent timelines. Exiles pretty much dealt with it for forever. They've had Days of a Future Past. They've had these other things. But for the most part, it all sort of functioned right here. It wasn't convoluted. It wasn't crazy. There weren't any complexities or anything like that. Everything was fairly straightforward. And you always knew that if you went 200 issues back, you could read from 200 issues back or read from right now, but it all made sense. Everything was great. And then New York Comic Con happened, and they announced the new Secret War. If you look at any of the promotional material, like the poster that they have, it's got all the alternate universes that are popping up. And I bring this up because I've always liked Secret War. I could not, for the life of me, find my original Secret War issues, or else I'd have had that up. So I had to get this one, which actually had nothing to do with anything, but was still a pretty entertaining series nonetheless. And it says Secret War on it, so it just seemed apropos. But it has all these universes colliding, and one of my great complaints in Marvel that's right now, as things unfold in front of us with Axis and New Avengers and yada yada, yakadish makade, is that it almost seems like Marvel's creating a mess to clean up. I look at this and I know nothing about what's going on with Secret War. I have no secret information. I'm not dropping any bombshells, but there seems to be this, they're going to have all these universes fight, and it's all going to collide, and we'll end up with one world like we always had, which will probably be, again, labeled the 616, and everything will be back to normal. That's cool, but something about this seems fake and not as entertaining and not as good. I don't want to say that I haven't enjoyed any of the stories that are taking place in Avengers, because they've actually been very good. I don't want to say that I dislike the Illuminati, because I do like them. I enjoy a lot of what's going on. I can appreciate the craftsmanship, so to speak, but the story's just leaving me sort of meh. Whereas this happened organically, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Whereas I looked at that and said, holy cow, this is amazing, and this is the most brilliant way ever to clean up a mess. Marvel instead said, man, we've got this really clean room. I know, we'll make a mess, and then we'll clean it up, and people will like it. In fact, that's not the case. You broke something that wasn't broke, and now you're trying to fix it and telling me, see, this was our plan all along. Thanks. That sucks. That's like Xiao coming to my house, breaking my iPad and saying, don't worry, I can fix it. No, douche, I didn't want my broken iPad. You know, the universe was fine how it was. Look, I'm going to buy whatever they drop. If they drop Secret War and it's got all these random storylines going through it, like Age of Ultron or Civil War or One More Day or Sort of Like Another Day, or hey, remember that time that this guy got punched in the face and it changed the whole universe, a la Butterfly Effect? Oh man, I'm going to be super excited for it. I'm going to spend my $4.99 for it. But I just spent all this time saying how Marvel's doing wonderful things in the movie universe and not leaving bad tastes in people's mouths. I'd really, really like to go buy some Marvel comics and not have a bad taste left in my mouth. And that's sort of what Secret War feels like. It kind of feels like a cash grab. You know, it's not the same as Civil War. Civil War, again, sort of happened organically. I know everybody's tired of that word, but I love using it. Organic. But at the end of the day, rural. Sorry, Internet. Sometimes I can be repetitive and redundant. But anyway, just to my point, Crisis on Infinite Earths was fantastic. It was self-contained. It happened organically. The new Secret War seems like a cash grab. Come on, Marvel. You're better than this. You're the big brother. And, you know, you're winning right now. You broke Twitter. Don't break my heart. Anyway, that's all the time I've got for now. Next week, I promise you, we are going to have Becky Cloonan. She's going to be here just working out the travel arrangements. Shaolin will hopefully be here. You know, who knows what else will happen. Maybe my cats will produce an episode. No one knows. But until then, remember, Internet, nobody likes a douchebag hippopotamus. Good night.